PYX 106.
1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. It's Paul Harding from Martin Harding and Mazzotti on the phone.
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Hey, so I'm not ashamed. I don't know where Quinn stands on this, but I'm not ashamed to say that I learned things from The Daily Show, like a lot of people my age.
Oh, yeah.
Or slightly younger.
Every episode I learned something.
So we saw an episode where they focused on civil forfeiture, or after Googling it, civil asset forfeiture. So we wanted to have you on the show to explain what that is, and at least in the Daily Show video, how it was being abused.
Yeah, and let me just give a little example. What the Daily Show was talking about: someone being pulled over by a police officer, and in order to get out of the ticket. Or to get out, to not be in trouble, they would either have to turn over their cash money right there on the spot,
like Mexico.
But I mean, I've heard of this happening in Wisconsin too.
Yeah.
But these guys can essentially, these cops down, I think it was in Arizona or Texas, they can name their price.
Yeah, and the Daily Show, I did see that episode. It's hilarious. It's satire, but there's often, there is in this case, truth embedded in the story. So few people know about this. I mean, it's a civil forfeiture.
Yeah.
It's not criminal. Criminal forfeiture, you're committing a crime, you're proved guilty in that crime, and whatever you've obtained from that crime, it forfeits and it goes to the government agencies, and nobody's really complaining about that. But the civil forfeiture basically says if the police pull you over and they suspect that you've been involved in a crime, they can take the stuff. They say, well, as the Stewart show kind of showed, they suspect you're going to buy drugs. They find money in the car. They take that money, and they can. And then it's up to the person who's lost the money to then go and prove kind of their innocence, or prove that this money was obtained in legal ways. So it sounds outrageous. It is a bit outrageous, I guess, but it's happening not only in Wisconsin, but it actually can happen in every state under the federal law.
So it could happen here in New York. So if I was on my way to a drug deal, Paul, and I had $10,000 in the car, and they took it, odds are I'm not going to go fight for it because I was on my way to a drug deal.
Yeah, but what if you had $10,000 because you're going to go buy a wedding ring or an engagement ring or go to pay for a, and
it seems like a reverse mortgage. It seems like I'm working backwards.
Yeah,
here.
like I have to do the work now to get my money, my hard-earned money back. It seems really brutal.
It is brutal. In essence, sure. The folks who really were going to buy that wedding ring and they can show they earned the money, saved the money in their account, extracted it from their account.
I don't want to show. It's none of your goddamn business, pardon my French.
What the legislation being proposed in Washington would make civil forfeiture the same as criminal forfeiture. You'd have to prove the crime, prove that beyond a reasonable doubt that this occurred. Yeah, I mean, it's the police are, for the they're really responsible in doing this, but it's the abuses, of course, that make the news. And didn't have to look very far when I did Google it last night. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits against the police for doing this, and certainly some of them are legitimate.
Yeah.
All right, so one last question from me. So let's say I'm pulled over for a violation and I've got $100 on me. Can I offer civil forfeiture, or would that be construed as a bribe?
That would be something else.
That would you're right. Yeah, no, that would give you additional charges, maybe even arrested. Looks like you're trying to now you would never do this, but buy yourself out of a ticket.
What if he didn't realize that the C note was between the driver's license and his registration? It just happened to land. I mean,
well, let us know how it happens. But historically, that is one of those things that gets you yet additional charge. Yeah. Often a free trip down to the police
This
station.
is why Sonny Crockett would be driving a Ferrari on Miami Vice, isn't it? Or that might be the criminal. That's the criminal forfeiture.
All right, we're gonna. If you didn't see it, we'll put the link, if it's not up already, to the Daily Show piece on civil
It's hilarious and unfortunately
the guy
a little
doing
more
the show,
accurate.
Playing the role of everyone in the car. It's pretty funny. I'm glad you were on, Paul, because now I'm legitimately scared.
Yeah,
so
exactly. We actually have something seriously to be scared about.
Yeah, I think when people find out this can actually happen, it does sound like, maybe it happened one time in Texas. No, it can happen. And again, and then it's up to the people to prove that they didn't commit the crime. Certainly goes against Fifth Amendment protection.
Paul Harding taking care of a personal problem with me of mine right now,
he?
Cantera. He's on it. I mean, the man himself is handling it. I'm talking about desks being flipped over,
it's
doors being
intense.
busted down. You know, he's grabbing badges off of police sergeants.
Has he dropped the "you
and
can't
tell-
handle the
he's
truth"
like, you
line
can't
yet?
handle the truth. It's good stuff, Paul. I appreciate that, buddy.
Well, it's our pleasure. Yeah.
It's 1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Log on, listen loud. Classic rock. And Quinn and Cantera at iHeartRadio.com.